Did sis and B book that date yet? Says you can't
And the follow-up question is, will you
talk.
eventually?
Nah, if they ain't book it yet, it's been 30 days.
No. The answer is no. It's not gonna happen.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Okay. Tay, how important is it to be in a relationship?
I think it's very important to be in a healthy relationship because you could be in a toxic one and then that not do anybody good. So I believe in people pouring into each other and making each other better. I for one believe I'm better in a relationship because I'm better as a pair. I'm a Libra, so y'all know how we do. But yeah, I think it's very important.
When you say toxic, if you're unhappy in a relationship, let's say a marriage, if you're unhappy, do you consider that toxic?
What I consider toxic is abuse of any kind and things of that nature that's going to cause you to mentally break down or do something that's, negative. So,
So if you're unhappy in a relationship, what do you deem that as toxic or negative? Is that necessary to be happy?
I mean, if you're unhappy, you talk about what makes you unhappy so that you can work toward being happy. I don't
Okay.
necessarily think that, yields toxicity. You know what I
hmm So
Right.
Isha, if you're unhappy, is that a deal breaker for you in a relationship?
No, I think being unhappy is a temporary emotion. Um, Especially if the relationship is based on purpose. Your happiness don't even matter. As long as the purpose is being fulfilled, then you can work through that stage. It's a stage.
Word. So you think relationship is very important to you
I
to be in
definitely
one?
do. I definitely do. I think we go through so much as people anyway, and it's better. Two is always better than one. Um, just myself going through the death of my mom by myself, that's hard. That was hard. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different type of support from a person that
mhm.
you say. What you think, love? How important is it to be in a relationship?
It is important if it adds value to you, to each other. There has to be value added, and that includes what everyone said. So I want to make sure I'm clear. It's value added, meaning it brings out the best version of you. And a couple of the women said, two is better than one, and I like being relationship. I'm better in relationships. So yeah, that adds value. So if it adds value, then it's very important. I am wholeheartedly a big supporter of being in healthy relationships um, that allows you to be the best version of yourself.
So a lot of ifs. So how important is it to be in a relationship?
It is very important.
Okay. And obviously it needs to be successful, right? Is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yes, productive, viable, which means living. Um, when those factors are at play, it's a wonderful thing. It won't have to be perfect, and it will never be perfect, but it works.
Yeah. Okay. Ro, uh, is being single a flex?
No. Nope.
Mm. Should we look? How should we look at being single? Because I think there's a consensus here about how important relationship is.
Um, I guess from my own perspective, singleness taught me a lot more about myself, right? Because I know when we go through different phases, we sometimes just glide through those phases and we don't have anybody holding us accountable. Our friends might say something, we don't catch it. Our family might say something, we're not catching it. But I always say if there's like two or three more people saying the same thing that are close to you, then you need to kind of listen and take in what they're saying. And that includes, a spouse or a mate or a partner or whoever you're dating. And I think that it allows for you to get to know yourself. But I think that you need that relationship to confirm what's going on in that phase, if that makes sense.
Hmm. So does the relationship raise your level of accountability? Is that
It
what it is?
does. It does. I think it does.
Okay. Okay. So do you think you need another person to hold you accountable?
I think we all do. I think we do. Because if we don't, um, we'll go unchecked and we could be hurting ourselves in situations that we're not even aware. And believe it or not, there are a lot of adults that have never been checked, not even from their parents, or their
Hmm.
parents stopped at a certain point. And so they haven't been checked in a while. And I say that you could tell because some adults, I always say they haven't had their ass whooped in a while because they really doing stuff that is just that would have, if it's been checked, they wouldn't do it.
Hmm. Okay. That's solid. That's solid. Okay. So I think relationships are pretty important. Does everybody on the panel want to be in a relationship if they aren't already at this time?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to be.
Sis?
Well, what I'm thinking, just listening to you, you skipped over me, but that's cool. Um, I think that it should become more important. I think out of sight, out of mind, women get complacent that are single and just keep keep moving about their lives without even thinking about it. I know I do. So I don't know if it is as important as I can't say it's immediately important. I think I should put more thought into it and effort, if I'm being honest. Um, would you ask me, do I want to be single?
Do you want to be
Or
in a relationship?
or do I want to be in a relationship? Sometimes, yeah.
Sis, let me ask you a question. Do you want to be in a relationship?
At times.
Hmm. I'll let it slide. John the Baptist with the $5 super chat. Living single or unmarried can be very costly for a woman if she is not in her father's home. Living single or unmarried can be very costly for a woman if she is not in her father's home.
Word, John.
Like that, shit like that, shit like that,
Yeah,
shit like that, shit like
I
that.
think that's solid. Sis, what say you about that? I know I heard you go on a rant before that you tired of doing this, that, and the third, but you saying a relationship is only important at times.
Yeah, at times, like a day like today, I don't want to see anybody. So that's what I mean by that. Like, if I had somebody, I had to deal with his ass, and on every level. So I mean, that's why I say at times, and I'm only speaking from my feelings and current experiences. It is what it
Damn.
is.
Why did so much disdain come out your voice when you talking about him and have to deal with his ass?
Cause I mean, laundry, cooking, you just gotta do things. I don't think it's all negative, but it is work. And if you're in a relationship, it's work.
When you think about the men, do you get a negative or positive thought first?
A little both. A little both. Like it's work.
Hmm.
And just from history, it's hard dealing with a man. It's something to think about. Without that, nothing to think about. I could think about what I'm gonna eat. I could sit here butt naked, no issues. It's just I'm free.
Wow.
Damn. Isha,
Sometimes men are like kids here.
you mean like washing their clothes and stuff like that?
Or if they're sick, they're very needy people. Like sometimes, like I can, okay, for example, my son and I, we can get takeout real fast, and that's good for us. We good. But dealing with a grown man, he want a home cooked meal, and sometimes I don't want to cook a home cooked meal.
That's real. That's real. What if you want to lift the leg up that night but you want to keep your man happy. I don't feel like putting my leg. I don't feel like lifting my leg up. I don't feel like doing other services. I'm tired. Like sis, like I just don't feel like it. But to please your man, so he doesn't go off somewhere, as we talked about in previous podcasts, we have to do that. We don't feel like it. So it is work to further the point.
And especially if you've been single for so long and you're used to doing things on your time, your way, the way you want to do it, then you have to get used to considering somebody else's thoughts and feelings.
But I'll say you just need somebody to be patient with you and who understands that. I mean, I think that's still possible to be on that path. But singledom is a thing. But yeah, I think it takes some adjustment.
When I think of a man, the first thought is good. It's sexual though, but it's good though. When I first think of a man,
I think mine is financial support. Like, I mean, I could do it by myself, but I want to spend my money for other stuff.
I got a quick question, Ham. I got a quick question for us ladies. Do we look at it like I don't want to go to this job, or do we look at it like we're doing our job, we're happy, we're doing our job, we're satisfying him, we're happy? Is it like that, or when you guys say it's work?
It's still a job.
So we can clarify.
But it's still a job.
I can do a job that I love.
And it's work either way, though, right? It's work when you're single. Either way, you got to cook, you got to clean, whatever, you know. So I just feel like it goes both ways. And it depends on the person that you're with. It don't feel like work because y'all doing it together. Or whatever the vibe is, it's working. Or y'all got chemistry, or whatever the case.
Yeah, that's the understanding. Like, it shouldn't be a problem if one day, you know, because I'm the person that cooks, that cleans, that does everything. It shouldn't be a problem if it's one day I'm like, hey, I don't feel like cooking today. So what you want to eat? And it's never an issue. It's just like, all right, like whatever, like you cook, you know, 4 days out the week most of the time. So why not? You know, so a lot of that goes into also what they play and just communicating with them as well. Like, hey, I wasn't able to, I'm at work. I wasn't able to throw this load in the laundry. Can you do it real quick? And then I'll put it in the dryer or whatever when I get back. Like, I think a lot of that comes into your partner and, you know, how you guys kind of balance each other out.
Damn. I just wonder. I hear a lot of selfishness, to be honest. Miss Nay, are women built to give love and nurture or to receive love and nurture?
Ooh. I think it's easier to give when we feel like we're being loved on, to be honest, at least for me.
Wow.
It is. It's easier because I feel like you're trying to pour into somebody else. Be like, I'm pouring into what? It can feel like that.
So you guys aren't built to do that then? You're saying it's only if you're receiving it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
It's kind of hard. It's very hard to love on somebody when you're not receiving it. You want to feel love too. So it's like I'm pouring out into you, but what am I getting as well? I want to feel love too. Why I got to give everything?
But that's why I feel like
reciprocated.
That's why I feel like it's built in us, because with it being built in us, we're going to always start that out naturally. Well, I'm not going to say that for all women. Me personally, I'm always going to lead with that. You get what I'm saying? And then if it gets to a point where it's like I'm overwhelmed because I'm doing so much, and then it's like you're either not appreciative or you don't even notice, or, you know, it's just nothing to you. That's when I start, you know, in a way it's like, okay, like, let me see if I pull back on this and see what the reaction is. Let me see if, you know, maybe we start to communicate better there. But I feel like naturally women do lead with, hey, like, this is what I come with.
So
Depending on their traumas, though. At least
question, Dana.
Yep.
See, it's disheartening to hear that, honestly. Because if they went through this, then they're not going to be able to do that. If they're not receiving it, then they won't do that. I just
It sounds conditional.
Yeah, very much so. And I think a lot of things can be transactional, but the conditions on that can be tough. Dana.
Yep.
If a Ku Klux Klan member
what the
and
what the fuck?
if a Ku Klux Klan member and a black woman walks into a bar, which one of them gonna say black men ain't shit first?
Hampton.
I'm going with the KKK. Every
But
day
if
of the
we
week.
I don't think so, because
wait,
when you,
Mary, you keep jumping. Why not, Dana?
Because I don't think that that's our default as much as you all like to make it seem as though it is. Because a lot of women, most women don't feel that way. We don't feel, especially women of a certain age, we don't subscribe to niggas ain't shit. We don't subscribe to black men ain't worth shit. We want to be with black men. The women who were on the panel that you just asked the question if we want to be in a relationship, I'm assuming those who want to be with men want to be with black men. I don't have any issue with them. I love them. I think that they're God's gift. So I don't see that as being a realistic thing. I think that's something that y'all just like to throw around a lot.
Now, let me ask you a question, and I know you're gonna be authentic with me. I know it's topics, and I know it's a podcast. If I rewind this back and click all through the episodes, you think it's gonna back what you said or what the assumption is?
I think it'll back what I said.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I think that the questions that you ask are.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
Go ahead.
I mean, the questions that you ask are very situational. So there are times where we're not fans of some of the behaviors and some of the name calling and all the other shit that we get a lot on this podcast. But as a whole, if we're leading with our feelings and how we feel about black men in general, we don't hate y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah, I think you love us, but I think that niggas ain't shit come out a whole lot too.
I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, I think I mean they were saying it last week. Somebody said, I ain't gonna say no names. Why get in shape for these niggas? They ain't shit.
I must have missed
I think I
that
said
part.
something. I think I said something similar, but I ain't said it.
They dogs.
Oh yeah, no. I said I watched skinny bitches get drugged through the mud. Some of the bitches that's out here nice and thin, skinny, getting drugged through the mud. That's what I said. Okay.
Now you know I got a great memory, sis. But I'll let it be.